Greetings and salutations, folks. My name is Nick, and welcome back to Scarlet Hollow, where recently Tabitha and I went on an adventure, a ghostly adventure that resulted in the possession of all of our friends. They were turned into puppets to retell the story of a man named Charles Shaw and how he was betrayed by the Scarlet family. Also, Wayne was there. I want to talk about Wayne, really talk. Your cousin's size. What do you want to know? Why is he following me? He's a creep stalking his ex's cousin. All the more reason to not talk to him. He's a different man now. Stay away from him. So Wayne's a he now. Back in the ghost realm, he was an it. Does it really matter? I was scared in there, and right now I'm so exhausted I can barely think straight. Who cares if Wayne is a he or an it anyway? Either way, he's bad news and you'd best steer clear. I mean, Tabitha's right, but I still feel like she's withholding something. You really don't want me talking to him. What does he know that you're afraid I'll find out? I just know him. Please trust me when I say he's bad news. Do you think he's actually going to hurt Stella? No, he's a creep, but I don't think he has it in him to hurt her. And I don't know if you've noticed, but Stella is irritatingly resourceful. She'll be fine. Why is he all gross? He's sick or something, probably part of why he's such a creepy weirdo now. I don't know if it's contagious, but I wouldn't rule it out, so don't go near him. We'll leave it at that. Do you think Stella is okay, like, emotionally? She wandered off back there. I'm worried about her. She's a pest. And like all pests, she has an uncanny way of bouncing back from things. She'll be fine. That could honestly just be Tabitha's way of saying a compliment. What's going to happen to the library? It'll stay boarded up until a real ghost hunter comes in or something. Or maybe Charlie will just get fed up and disappear. I don't know how ghosts work. And it's not our problem now anyway. The important thing is we both got out of there, and even though everybody got banged up, nobody died. I won't even charge Oscar and Rosalina much rent for the old Maxwell place, out of the kindness of my heart. I'm sure they'll find something soon. I talked to Isaacs today. Oh, nope, we don't want to tell her that. Because Isaacs went behind her back. How did you know to call Sybil? Who else should I have called? The cops? I believe you've seen their competence on full display. That's not an answer. That's misdirection. That's not an answer. Besides, I'm sure you've heard that old woman talk. If anyone in this town would have known how to deal with a ghost, it'd be her, right? Alright, I think it's time for me to turn in. That's a good idea. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Don't keep poking around looking for trouble. You just have to make it to the funeral. 4 more days, that's all. And then the bus comes. I'd like to stay in touch after all this is done. Like, I don't have to be here, but I think, like, only showing up for the funeral of the aunt and then leaving and then nothing? Yeah, I'd like to stay in touch. Maybe we could do that. It has been kind of lonely being the only Scarlet in our generation. It would be nice to have someone else in the family. We'll see how things go. Whether we're alive at the end of the week, that probably is a important thing to consider. Anyway, night. See you tomorrow. Time to go to bed. You don't even notice yourself entering the guest room and falling into bed. Suddenly you're just there, buried under your family's musty covers. Before your thoughts can drift away to nightmarish recollections of hours past, your phone buzzes on the nightstand. Hey, sorry I ran off earlier. Wound up in a really bad headspace. I care about you so much, just need some time to get a handle on things. Sorry. I've got really bad battery. I really should plug that phone in. Let's see, we don't have time? No. I thought proving ghosts were no. I'm here if you need me. I'm the sorry one. I let the ghost hurt you. I'm here if you need me. You put your phone back on the nightstand. It's Wednesday night. Nearly half a week has passed since you first arrived in town, and a little over half a week remains until the bus comes to take you home. The spirit of Charles Shaw Jr. now commands the entirety of City Hall, a swirling void of wrath and despair that the people of this town will have to learn to ignore. Disaster looms its tallest yet over Scarlet Hollow. This is the end of episode 3. Thank you so much for playing. We hope to have episode 4 released before the end of the year. If you'd like to continue with this world state in episode 4, please save your game now. I shall do that. And I suppose that means this is it for Scarlet Hollow, at least for now. What will happen next? What are the carvings hidden in these disparate locations? Are the carvings themselves activating supernatural activities or limiting supernatural activities, preventing them from escaping? Like, if you, looking at the placement of these carvings, we know a carving is in the library, a carving is in the mines, and a carving is in the, doctor's clinic room. I was attempting to open up the door to the clinic, but the doctor stopped me. We opened up the door to the door to the basement in the library's side house. We went into the mines and pushed past the boarded up place. And in both cases we found different elements of ghosts. The Tommyknockers, which caused the collapse of the mine, and the library, which caused the possession of everybody within it. In the library, the main character's feeling a possession, as in something was pulling them towards the hatch. And they were feeling the same feeling that they did in the clinic. That desire to open the door. what if these carvings were just meant to kind of limit, like, supernatural or psychic activity within those specific locations, and essentially opening the door, opening the hatch, pressing in towards the mines, brings you into these contained areas and uncontains them, so to speak. So then there leads the question, who built the carving? Like, if that is still the case, who built the carvings that enabled, one second while I switch songs. This is kind of a little bit on the creepier side. Let's go to the main menu. Because we've already got that saved. Like, who would have built the carvings? There seems to have been, like, a competing family, a dueling families. You've got the Shaws and you've got the Scarlets. The Scarlets, at some point, push the Shaws out. Whether it be, like, the accident in the mines, like, the Scarlets more or less took advantage of that because they were able to get rid of the Shaws from control over the mines, while also avoiding all damage from the collapse, from the fallout, from the angry citizens of the Holler. Did the Scarlets build those carvings? Or are they much older than that? If they are, then how would one end up in the clinic of the doctor's house? Because that would assume that the doctor's house would be relatively old, unless somebody knew to put it there. Or somebody built certain carvings at certain places and people learned about them and moved them. That's the question. Who built the carvings? How old are they? Do they predate the Scarlets and the Shaws? Like, one of the themes that have been going on since episode 2 was explained, the idea that the ditchlings are just warnings of worse things to come. But so far, what we've seen have been relatively unrelated ghost sites, like the Tommyknockers and the Puppeteer are pretty unrelated style-wise and unrelated content-wise. Although I suppose both of them, story-wise, still kind of are connected via the mine. You've got the Tommyknockers, who may be the ghosts of the miners who had lost their lives so many years ago, and then you've got the ghost of Charles Shaw, murdered by Edwardine, for someone called Enoch. Somebody else kind of in charge. And that's also something that's kind of looming over everything. And then there's the idea that there's something else even greater than what we've seen here, kind of brewing in the background. And Wayne kind of implies that existence. Because, like, is Wayne still the person that he was? Has he become this different individual? Is Wayne possessed by something? Or has he just become kind of like a harbinger of death? A messenger, if you will, from the other side? There is a room somewhere in this house, in the Forbidden Wing, that in theory might lead to something of an answer. Possibly as to who Edwardine is, but at what point was it forbidden? Because if you consider the way things are going in this storyline, things are blocked off for a reason. We are going to block off the library for a good reason. And that hatch was covered up by carpeting for a good reason. But that's the thing. Like, how long has that hatch been down there? How long has that carving been down there? And the stain has only been showing itself up in the carpet for only so long. which presents the idea that these carvings, if they are in fact limitations to supernatural and psychic activity in the local area, are weakening. They are not as strong as they used to be. And the hauntings, the ghosts from within, are finding some sort of means to get out. Or should I say, like, if the spiritual air has somehow become thinner, and perhaps the ditchlings recognize that, and that's what enables them, encourages them to start to tread that space. What other mysteries are going on? Sybil and her teas. What kind of tea is she giving Kanika? Reese and his sickness. Is his sickness partially due to the fact that Dr. Kelly lives so close to a carving? Is there something going on in the clinic, like some sort of ghost, or that's causing the issue for Reese? There's the idea that the spiritual world is becoming stronger. The carvings aren't quite as capable of holding them back. And Reese has mentioned that he's been having more problems as of late. So is Reese's sickness directly connected to the carving in the clinic? And what kind of ghosts or spirit is being trapped within the clinic? Reese's problem is, like, they don't know what kind of medical issue Reese has, but he seems to have a lot of trouble putting on weight. He's thinner, relatively weak to the point in which, like, he can't really go across long distances without tiring himself out. So, is there a spirit in the clinic? Somebody who had been admitted, maybe somebody who had been suffering from the mind, who had a similar condition, and their condition is essentially being pushed onto Reese just out of vicinity, but then why is it only affecting Reese and it is not affecting Dr. Kelly? Could also be the manifestation of the spirit's anger towards those two people. Maybe Dr. Kelly or Dr. Kelly's family took care of the spirit and failed them. Because that's another thing that was brought up with the puppeteer story, is that anger of lineage. Like, it wasn't important that Edwardine Scarlet, that she would be the one to suffer for her crimes against the puppeteer. It was more important to the puppeteer that anybody with scarlet blood was good enough. Like, any ancestor was good enough for the puppeteer. And I wonder if, like, a similar issue could be going on with Dr. Kelly and Reese. Like, is the spirit malevolent towards Reese out of anger towards lineage? And lineage itself is that very key part of the storyline with the Scarlets and the Shaw. The lineage that holds ownership over the town through inheritance. I'm pretty sure Mayor Jimmy can't put any sort of pause on that sort of legislation. In the meantime, got any suggestions for something to play next? Leave them down in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have yourselves a good night.